Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're talking about another 2000s favorite. This is 2003's Transatlanticism by Death Cab for Cutie, and it's basically an indie rock slash indie pop type of vibe. Now this album, along with The Strokes' Is This It and Interpol's Turn on the Bright Lights, were the three albums I played over and over again with my brother in high school. It basically got me into the album format, if I'm being honest. Before then, I was kind of like a hits and singles from the radio type of music fan. But anyway, I love this album. Hopefully you find it interesting. But I'm excited to talk about it. So let's jump in with track number 1, which is called The New Year.
So this is the new year. I have no resolution. It's self-assigned panic. For problems with easy solution. So everybody put your best suit or dress on. Let's make believe that we are wealthy for just this once. Lighting firecrackers off on the front lawn as 30 dialogues bleed into one. I wish the world was flat like the old days, and I could travel just by folding the map. No more airplanes or speed trains or freeways. There'd be no distance that could hold us back. There'd be no distance that could hold us back.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can totally relate to Ben Gibbard here. I mean, basically, he's gotten so old that by this point, you know, he's looking at this New Year's celebration that he's being a part of, and he's just like, yeah, we're going to say we're going to go on a diet, or we're going to try to make new friends, or we're going to change this or do that. But really, we're just going to go back to our old ways. You know, who are we kidding, right? He's taking the fun out of it. He's sucking all the fun out of the experience because he's kind of a cynic now, right? He's too old. The thrill of living is gone for him, essentially, is what it sounds like. And I can identify with him. I've kind of reached that point in my own life where, you know, I've experienced so many things that like I've become jaded in a lot of ways, especially with music. Unfortunately, you know, fortunately in the sense of like I can pick out a good song, but unfortunately in the sense that it takes a lot for a song to really hit home for me. So anyway, you know, he's kind of a downer here. He's kind of a pessimist, but I can relate to it, so I can understand. I appreciate it. But anyway, it's a really fun beginning sonically. It's a great opener. But let's move on to track 2, which is called Lightness.
Your heart is a river that flows from your chest through every organ. Your brain is the dam, and I am the fish who can't reach the core. Ivory lines lead, whoa, whoa. Oh, instincts are misleading. You shouldn't think what you're feeling. They don't tell you what you know you should want.
Yeah, I like what he's talking about here. He's talking about the constant battle between, you know, your brain and your gut feeling, right? The animal part of yourself. And in this case, in a romantic way, right? Because it sounds like he's really sexually attracted to some girl who's totally bad news for him, is what it sounds like. She's probably like a drunkard or a drug addict or kind of a jerk, or, you know, is like cheating on her husband with you maybe, or something's going on where he knows, right, if he takes a moment to think about it, he knows that he shouldn't get involved with her, but his body's like, let's go, man, let's do it, let's have sex with her, she's hot. You know, so it's this constant battle, not just with romance, but a lot of other things as well, where like your body wants to do something because it feels good, but you know better, right? Your brain knows better that you probably, you know, it feels nice sleeping in bed when you wake up, but you got to wake up and go to work, you know, whatever it is. So anyway, I like the song quite a bit. But let's move on to track 3, which is called Title and Registration.
I was searching for some legal document as the rain beat down on the hood, when I stumbled upon pictures I tried to forget. And that's how this idea was drilled into my head. 'Cause it's too important to stay the way it's been. But there's no blame for how our love did slowly fade. And now that it's gone, it's like it wasn't there at all. And here I rest, where disappointment and regret collide, lying awake at night.
Yeah, this song really hit home for me because I'm kind of dealing with this a little bit in my own life, right? Where basically I lived with somebody for years and I loved them, but it didn't work out for, you know, whatever reason. And I've been away from them for a long time. And, you know, your body copes by forgetting them, right? It has to do that. Otherwise, you're going to go crazy and you're going to be sad all the time. But as he says on this song, you know, he just stumbles upon some old pictures of them together. And he's like, oh, God, here we go again. You know, I finally forgot about this person and moved on. But this stupid photograph in my glove compartment is reminding me about all of the great things I'm missing from my life, you know, that were part of that relationship, you know. I know, like, in my own life, for example, I accidentally stumbled upon a Facebook photo from someone else's account that reminded me of something. And I was like, I really didn't need to see that. God, gosh darn it. But anyway, that's life. That's how it works. Sometimes you get reminded and you feel sad for a while, and then you move on. But anyway, a really wonderful song. But let's move on to track 4, which is called Expo 86.
Sometimes it seems that I don't have the skills to recollect the twists and turns of plot that turned us from lovers to friends. I'm thinking I should take that volume back up off the shelf and crack its weary spine and read to help remind myself. But if I move my place in line, I'll lose. And I have waited, the anticipation's got me glued. I am waiting for something to go wrong. I am waiting for familiar resolve. I am waiting for another repeat, another diet fed by crippling defeat.
just love this song, lyrically especially, because I wonder this myself. You know, how do you go from absolutely being in love with somebody to, you know, at best becoming just friends with them, right? I mean, usually you just break up with them and you never talk to them again. But in some rare cases, you break up with somebody and now you're just friends. And I mean, it's really trippy if you think about it. Like, how is it even possible that you could be in love with this person for years, you know, sometimes, and then something happens or something happens over time and now you're just friends. Now you don't feel that way anymore and they don't feel that way anymore. I mean, it's weird how time can destroy so many different parts of your life, right? Time destroys everything. I forget which movie that's from. It's one of my favorite movies, so I feel bad that I don't remember. But time destroys everything is basically what he's trying to get at here. Even love. Time destroys even love, unfortunately. But again, that's life. You know, he's talking a lot about romance on this album. It's very relatable. It's very painful to remember, but it's very relatable. Anyway, unfortunately, I can't clip my favorite song on the album, which is the next track, The Sound of Settling. The band won't let me do it. So we got to skip it, unfortunately. So we're going to skip to track number 8 for my next clip, which is called Passenger Seat. Let's check it out.
Then looking upwards, I strain my eyes and try to tell the difference between shooting stars and satellites from the passenger seat as you are driving me home. Do they collide? I ask and you smile. With my feet on the dash, the world doesn't matter. When you feel embarrassed, then I'll be your pride. When you need directions, then I'll be the guide for all time.
Yeah, this is such a cute romantic moment in their life, right? I mean, I imagine this happened in the beginning of their relationship when they could still talk about these silly things together, you know, because he's looking up at the sky and he's like trying to tell the difference between shooting stars and satellites, as he says. But the reason that line's important is because the girl is like, you know, she's enjoying this conversation, this little small talk. She's not annoyed by it. You know, I would argue that somebody who's been in a relationship for a really long time, they kind of get to a point where conversations like this are no longer cute and fun, but they're kind of just like, will you shut up? Will you stop saying these stupid things that nobody cares about? Right? So they're kind of still in this like new honeymoon phase where, you know, they're having these like silly philosophical conversations, you know, that are kind of stupid, but they're cute, you know, and they're both into it. But I can imagine them 5 years later having this conversation, but in a different context of the girl's like annoyed by this guy, that he's having these stupid thoughts. So I don't know, maybe that's just me being a pessimist, but I do think of that, you know. You can kind of get away with certain things at the beginning of a relationship, I would argue, because they still don't know you that well, right? As soon as somebody knows you, they get annoyed by you more often than not, right? Because they have experience with you. You're normalized in the sense of like, they're used to you. It's not a new thing to them. They're not constantly wondering whether you like them. They know that you like them. So if they know that you like them, then suddenly all the things that you do that annoy them become amplified, right? But when you're at the beginning of a relationship and you're not entirely sure if you both love each other, you're more willing to be forgiving of like silly conversations like this. If that makes any sense. That was a bit of a tangent, but just a little philosophizing there about romance. But anyway, that's Passenger Seat. Let's move on to track number 9, which is called Death of an Interior Decorator. Yeah, my goodness, this guy is quite the jerk, right? Basically, she gave her husband 3 kids, and then he just went off and cheated on her for the rest of their life together, right? And it sounds like her moral and ethical standards are such that she never cheated on him, even though she grew old and died, eventually. She never cheated on him, even though she knew that he was cheating on her constantly. So it's the death of an interior decorator in the sense of like, she probably really loved this guy and had all of these hopes and dreams and romantic thoughts about a loving family and, like going on vacation with him and doing all these romantic things together, probably. But of course, none of that happened. Basically, as soon as she gave him children, he just went off and cheated on her and could care less about her, is what it sounds like. But because they had kids, they're staying together for the kids, is how it goes, right? It's very important to a lot of people to not break up the family like that. And, it's just a depressing situation, but I'm sure it happens all the time. So this poor woman, right, she had this romantic idea of family at one point in time, and now she's facing the reality, which is very bleak and depressing. So anyway, that's track 9. So let's move on to track 10, which is called We Looked Like Giants.
God bless the daylight, the sugary smell of springtime, remembering when you were mine in a still suburban town. When every Thursday I'd brave those mountain passes, and you'd skip your early classes, and we'd learn how our bodies work. Goddamn the black night, with all its foul temptations, I've become what I always hated when I was with you. We looked like giants in the back of my gray subcompact, fumbling to make contact as the others slept inside. And together they...
Yeah, this song, it's about a first love and how wonderful, the whole experience is because it's so new, right? But it kind of got me thinking about something philosophically it's something that I think about a lot, which is that at this point in my life, I've had several girlfriends. Some of them, those relationships lasted a long time. And the problem with love, in my opinion, is that the more people you date, the more that you start to resent. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say you date someone for a long time and you really enjoy certain aspects of that relationship. Like, let's say maybe you're both gamers, so you play a lot of games together, or you both like anime, so you watch a lot of anime together. Well, now when you break up with that person and you're looking for somebody new, and you fall in love with somebody new, and that person doesn't like games or they don't like anime, suddenly, at least in my experience, you start thinking about that fact that they don't like anime and they don't like gaming, and that really bothers you, right? So you're constantly comparing new girlfriends to old girlfriends on some level, not necessarily consciously, but I would argue subconsciously you kind of do that, right? But when it comes to your first love, there's no expectations other than you both like each other, right? There's no like, oh, well, it kind of sucks because, you don't like the thing that my ex-girlfriend liked. There's none of that going on. So this song kind of makes me think of that. I mean, like I said, I think about this on my own sometimes late at night that like, gee whiz, I hope that my next girlfriend likes a lot of the same things that I like, because an ex-girlfriend did or whatever. So I appreciate this song. It makes me think about love and romance and how difficult it can be sometimes. But anyway, the last track is my last clip for you guys, track 11. It's called A Lack of Color.
This is fact, not fiction. For the first time in years, all the girls in every girly magazine can't make me feel any less alone. I'm reaching for the phone to call it 703. And on your machine I slur a plea for you to come home. But I know it's too late, and I should have given you a reason to stay. Given you a reason to stay. Given you a reason.
Oh man, I can definitely relate to this poor guy's predicament, right? It sounds like he's been with this girl for a long time, and it's become normalized for so long that he's no longer really trying to impress her. He's taking a lot of things for granted. He's taking the whole relationship for granted, is what it sounds like. He probably doesn't do a lot of romantic things anymore. They don't have those cute conversations like they had on Passenger Seat anymore. It's just kind of routine now and dull. And it sounds like the woman is just over time feeling very, very unloved, and she's kind of resenting him. She wants romance, and finally she's had it with this guy, and she leaves him. And he's thinking about all of this, and he's kicking himself. He's like, why the heck didn't I try harder? Why the heck didn't I try to keep the romance going and keep her interested? I just totally took her for granted. And I have definitely done that in my own life on a couple occasions in past relationships. And both times, it kind of sneaks up on you. It's kind of like a frog boiling, where you kind of don't realize that you're taking it for granted until it's too late. Unless you're like constantly thinking about it, you don't realize that you're pushing her away. So anyway, it's a pretty sad way to end the album. It's a very romantic album in general, discussing all different aspects of romance and love. I appreciate it. It's just an excellent, excellent indie pop record, in my opinion. Ben Gibbard, at this point, has a very particular style, and his voice is very recognizable. So anyway, I hope you thought it was interesting. As usual, let me know in the comments if you liked it or didn't like it. But yeah, that's Death Cab for Cutie. You know, if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. But, you know, check him out. And have a good one.